one of the first ones was that COVID had been caused by the 5G network, the mobile phone network of 5G, and that it was getting into all sorts of places that it shouldn't and causing this pandemic. That was the first thing. And then, of course, we had a few months later, they developed these vaccines. Three or four companies, international companies, were able, it seems, to develop vaccines within a few months. Now, normally you wouldn't be allowed in any country to use a new vaccine for adults or children that hadn't been tested very often up to about 10 years. That takes that amount of time. So, again, it's no wonder that people sort of thought, is this what we're being told here? Is this accurate? Or is there something behind it? And of course, we then found out with the vaccines, a lot of people, some people said they would never have it. I think the majority were compliant. We saw pictures on television, particularly I remember of Italy's hospitals, doctors, nurses clad in hazmat suits, completely covered head to foot to avoid catching the virus. And those pictures probably penetrated all of our minds and our psyche to make us compliant. Let's have this vaccine. Nowadays, in more recent times, recent weeks really, I've certainly read articles which say, you know, good authorities say they would never touch one of those vaccines again because there were clear dangers that were not perhaps fully understood. Whereas others say, no, I would still have it. I was talking to a pal of mine the other day and he was saying, oh, I'm going to have another booster. I said, are you really? I said, I don't think I'd have any more. He said, oh, well, I've thought about it. He said, my wife's not going to have it, but I am. And I thought, well, it's up to you, isn't it? I mean, I think many of us would say now that perhaps they wouldn't take the risk because any vaccine, particularly a newly developed one, can have bad side effects. And a few people, sadly, did develop problems. Anyway, so COVID caused lots of conspiracy theories, just that one thing. So I'll ask you at this stage, Cuz, either on COVID or anything you consider to be a conspiracy theory, would you say you actually believe, looking back at things you may have been told or you thought about, and you think, yeah, there's a conspiracy theory there, whether it's COVID or anything else? Would you say you believe any particular conspiracy theory?
If I said a
Sorry,
straight no,
have I woken you there? I did go on a bit there, didn't I? But no. So anyway, what do you think? What do you think?
well, if I give a straight answer, then it wouldn't be fun with it. And there's no straight answer. I don't think anybody has a straight answer to do you believe in conspiracy theories, yes or no. I don't think anybody has a straight answer because it would differ, wouldn't it? It would differ on the circumstances and it would differ on what's at stake. Obviously, if you said to somebody, there's a conspiracy theory, there's a conspiracy to do something, the first thing that the person would want to know is to what gain. Why would anybody want to go to that length to cover up something? What for? So you'd have to put all that into, you'd have to factor it in, wouldn't you? So do I believe in conspiracy theories? I would say yes to an extent, but I would not. I'm not ready to not. I'm not ready to bring out my tinfoil hat for that because because there's an extent to which one would go with theories because obviously theories are theories. They're not been proven they might be proven, but not to a greater extent. And so yeah, and I would say that with all carefulness, because there's an aspect of conspiracy theories that I would buy into, and there's the aspect that I don't buy into. The abduction of aliens abducting human beings, I don't buy into that. um, cover-ups, cover-ups for reasons of whatever reasons that may be, I buy into to a great extent. For instance, the celebrities where they I think they manufacture a celebrity scandal, and then there's something else they've planned to do, and whilst we're being distracted by focusing on that scandal, whatever is gonna happen happens, and then by the time we come back to reality, it's already too late. So I believe in that. I do believe in that aspect of the conspiracy theory. But all the other aspects of conspiracy theory, I would take with a pinch of salt, because unless you can substantiate, unless there's a substance to it, I don't believe in it. Because then you where does it stop? Where does it end? You believe in anything and everything, so that's I think that's to the extent that I would say I believe in.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, what about though? That's a very general comment, a good comment about conspiracy theories, and probably most of us would agree that you can't take on board and believe everything by way of conspiracy theory. But individual conspiracy theories, maybe it's a different question, because, for example, fairly recently, another report, or not so much a report, but papers were released, great numbers of papers were released about President Kennedy's assassination,
right,
back in, I think it was in the 1960s. Now, a lot of people have a view on that over the years, because perhaps when someone is assassinated like that, over time, a lot of their life story and what they did, what they didn't do, came out. Now, as I understand,